Hey, what's going on, guys? Mike here, back in the aquarium lab. The Avatar tank is about to get crazy. The crayfish in here are pregnant. Well, the one crayfish. Let's zoom in on here really quick and let's see if we can see that egg clutch. I don't know if this camera is going to get it quite good enough, so I'll try and overlay in some other footage with my other camera so you can see this egg clutch. But the female, which is hiding in this spot, has been here for the last like 2 or 3 days, hasn't really moved, and she sure enough has a nice fat clutch of eggs. And to be honest with you, I'm pretty freaked out about it. To be honest with you, I have no idea how this is going to end up affecting the tank if these eggs have been fertilized and they do hatch and the crayfish are able to protect them and those babies grow up. I mean, it's just, this is like one of the most exciting things that's happened to me, aquarium related, in a long time. But basically, to give you guys a little bit of a backstory to how we got here, this is what I observed about, I don't know, like 4 or 5 days ago. So I was out at the tank and I noticed that the two crayfish, which usually, you know, the male and the female, they don't interact that much. When they walk past each other, they tend to, you know, give each other a little, you know, close to a pinch. They don't actually pinch each other, but they, you know, display a little bit of, you know, some aggressive behavior. And so what happened was, I was out here the other day, they crossed paths, they got really aggressive with each other. And so I hung out and I watched them for a little while just to make sure, you know, nothing too crazy was going to happen. I didn't want to have to end up separating these guys because that would have been annoying. But what ended up happening was that the female, the larger one, ended up getting flipped over on her back by the male, and the male was essentially, I mean, straddling the female is the best way to put it. And she was totally frozen. She wasn't moving at all. And the male was, you know, kind of, I mean, he was wiggling around a little bit. He was moving is the point that I'm trying to making, and she wasn't moving at all. And so when I saw this, my initial thought was that the two were fighting and the male was, you know, attacking the female and it, you know, knocked her out or whatever and was attempting to now eat her. That was my initial thought. So what I did without thinking too much more about it was I got in there with some forceps and kind of poked around them, and that caused the male to get off of the female, and I quickly realized that the female was just fine. So then it clicked in my brain, well, duh, they're mating. I mean, this is a mating pair of crayfish. Why didn't I put that together in my head? I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking by not getting footage of them mating, so I'll just overlay a picture on the screen right now so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. What I did was I quickly got online to do some more research about these guys, and it was pretty obvious that the two were mating. I watched some videos of crayfish mating, and it was the same, you know, thing that was happening in this case. So I know that sounds really fun, you know, you do in your weekend, watch crayfishes mate, but hey, you do what you gotta do, right? So anyway, after I broke the two up and before I went online and did some research, I just said, hey, I gotta let nature take its course, we'll see what happens. So I left, and the next day I noticed that the female crayfish was just hanging out in this general area. She was actually over here, kind of behind the Anubias in this rock in a hidden spot, and she was there for like at least a day and a half with just not moving at all. So I thought in my head, hey, maybe she's, you know, protecting some eggs. And so today, coming out and taking a closer look at her, we can definitely see that she does have eggs that she's protecting. So that's really interesting. It's really cool. I guess I'm excited. I'm also kind of worried, you know, because like I said before, if those eggs were fertilized, successfully fertilized, and they hatch, like I'm assuming they will, granted, you know, the crayfish need to be able to protect those babies, but based on their behavior so far, I'm pretty confident that they're going to be able to do that. I don't know what kind of impact that's going to have on my shrimp population. You know, it shouldn't affect much before those juveniles, you know, get big enough to where they could take on a shrimp. But if, you know, if I end up with 20 more crayfish in this tank, I don't know, man. I don't know if the shrimp are going to be able to maintain their population. And that's sort of what, you know, was part of the fun with this tank, was seeing what kind of balance I was going to have with the predator and the prey in this tank. You know, will the shrimp be able to populate enough to where it doesn't make a difference? The predation by the crayfish doesn't matter. It doesn't affect, you know, the population of shrimp too much. So with all these more crayfish that come into the mix, I don't know if the shrimp are going to be able to take it. So just something that I got to deal with. We'll go, you know, I'll keep you guys in the loop as far as what happens with all this stuff. I guess I'm really excited, you know. It's just one of those things where this is one of the coolest parts of the hobby for me right now, and I'm super glad that you guys are into it and you love this tank as much as I do, and we'll just see what happens. I mean, I don't know, man. This is pretty cool. And the male is definitely keeping his distance. He's not involved with her at all. He's not paying any child support. She's doing, you know, all the work. And you know what? I don't know. I don't know what would happen if he came into contact with her, if she would get aggressive with him or not. I need to do some more reading on these guys. I think actually there he is. You can see him popping through there. There's a blur of him back there. There's his tail. But yeah, he's not involved at all. He's been just kind of hiding, and well, not hiding too much. He's been out in the front and he's eating normally, but she's definitely not coming down for anything. She's not coming down to eat. She's just hanging out in her spot over there. And I just also think it's so cool that she decided to pick the main avatar rock as her base camp while her eggs develop. That's just, I mean, that's just perfect. I really, really, really recommend that you guys get your hands on some Amano shrimp. They're great with a lot of different fish. I mean, pretty much every fish that isn't going to be able to fit it in its mouth are going to go great with them. And they're so awesome for cleaning up algae. Man, I don't have any algae in this tank at all right now, and I haven't, you know, throughout the entire setup process. And I think I owe a lot of that to the Amano shrimp. I mean, obviously, you know, the cherries, they do a pretty okay job at everything, but I'm thinking that those Amano shrimp, they're known to be really good algae eaters and, you know, tank maintenance, the tank maintenance team. So I can't recommend those enough. I think I need to get some more in here is what I want. And I think I'm going to start to put them in my other tanks. Maybe not my rainbow tank. I think they would get gobbled up in there. But, you know, the 90, I think they would do good. The 72. And my other tank that I haven't showed you guys yet, they would be great in there as well. A couple days ago, I also noticed that the Dream Blue Shrimp finally produced some offspring. So naturally, I was really excited. I've been waiting for that, you know, since we set up the tank to get those blue shrimp breeding. Obviously, we want to have the majority of the shrimp in here be the blue shrimp to go with the avatar theme. I'm just going to take a quick scan around the substrate here and see if I can find any. They were super tiny. I mean, you could barely see them on this black substrate. But I was really, really excited to see that finally happened. I might actually get another order in of the Dream Blue Shrimp just because I want to help, you know, increase the chances of getting some good breeding going on. And I think also what I'm going to do is start to take out the Sakura Reds. And I'm going to do that for a couple reasons. One, you know, I don't want to have a ton of crossbreeding going on and diluting my colors. And two, I mean, we just need to have the majority of the shrimp in here be blue. So this is a kind of perfect timing. I can take all of these red shrimp out. I'm going to be setting up a bunch of smaller tanks in my spare room, which is going to be turning into the ultimate fish tank office for me here pretty soon. So I think I'm going to try and time that sort of perfectly to where I can get most of these shrimp out and we can get the new blue shrimp in, and then we can, you know, we'll deal with the crayfish situation and, you know, might end up having to take those out as well. We'll just have to wait and see, but I am just absolutely loving watching these shrimp. So I also need to say, you know, some of you guys already know about the pregnant crayfish. I leaked that information over on Instagram almost like a week ago, I think. So another benefit of following me over there or on Facebook, it gets posted to both. So if you guys want sneak peeks on all of the crazy stuff that's going to happen with this tank, make sure you head over there and follow me on at least one of those two platforms. So yeah, guys, don't forget to leave a like for crayfish babies. I'm sure that the mama over here would appreciate a like on this video, help her get her through her egg battling stage over here, the protector of the eggs. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Follow me on the journey of the Avatar tank. I think it's going to be really exciting. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.